My name is John Smith and I'm a consultant obstetrician and gynaecologist at St Mary's Hospital in Paddington.
I'm Louis Fernandez. I'm a cameraman.
My name's Susanna Chisholm. I work in a gallery in the East End of London.
On Thursday the 7th of July 2005, London suffered its biggest bomb attack since the Second World War. At approximately 8:50 a.m, a series of coordinated bomb devices exploded on London's underground system, causing mass destruction, injury and death. What was initially believed to have been a power surge on the underground was quickly revealed to be a terrorist attack, the largest since the Lockerbie disaster in 1988. However, this attack was different because the bombs were not attached to the trains or buses, they were attached to people, making this the first suicide bombing to have taken place in Western Europe.
Multiple explosions across all of central London.
A loud explosion at Tavistock.
It was Thursday morning, just like any other Thursday. Got into my car and sort of headed out towards Camden, where APTN's based.
Everything was fairly peaceful on the lay board, thankfully, that day. People were having their babies calmly and peacefully without need for obstetricians.
I was supposed to be going on the Victoria line to King's Cross and getting the Northern line to Old Street.
And then my bleep went off and I, plus a whole number of other doctors, turned up in casualty. At that stage, of course, it wasn't known what the situation was. There'd been an incident at Edgware Road, and then it gradually became clearer through the course of the next 20 minutes that there'd be incidents elsewhere as well. And we were told that we were going to be receiving casualties from Edgware Road because we're the closest hospital.
When I got to Euston, I got off the train and they said that they were evacuating the tube stations because there was a power surge.
The first report suggested that a power surge in the underground had caused explosions in power circuits. However, this was later ruled out by the National Grid, the power suppliers. Amongst the confusion and panic, it was becoming clear that something was wrong.
Initial reports do not suggest explosion, possible electrical fault.
But then it started to get a little bit scary because they wouldn't let us out. They kept saying you've got to leave the tube station, but for some reason there were people at the top of the escalators blocking them.
So we sat there and there's an air of trepidation and wondering what was going to happen, and it gradually became clear that there'd been a bomb on the Edgware Road tube.
All units are stand by. And the Matangi is able to attend Edgware Road at Metline Underground Station.
I can confirm bomb damage to train.
St Mary's Casualty had experience from the Paddington rail crash a couple of years before, which I think had honed the experiences and the response to this type of problem. The first cases came in, and the situation that we were involved with was there was a woman an Australian woman who had been in the train that where the bomb had been. With her came in a man who had been on the opposite train. There's a train on the other track that had come past. They were absolutely filthy. I mean, the tunnels, things like obviously disgustingly filthy, and they were absolutely black. And it became clear she'd had quite bad injuries to the face, and she'd actually had bad injury to the leg, probably dislocated knees. But it was quite shocking, I have to say. I mean, I've not been involved in that type of situation before. The man on the train, he told the story that he'd actually gone onto the train. The first person he came across was someone who'd obviously been very much involved and in fact had lost both legs and in fact died in his arms on the tube train. And he realised that in fact he died and there was nothing more he could do about that. And so he then looked around and looked out of the train, the side of which had been blown off. And in fact the Australian woman who he brought came in with had been blown out of the train and was on the tracks outside. And so he'd obviously gone through the carriage where the bomb had been.
As commuters fled King's Cross, Susanna found herself heading towards Tavistock Square.
When I got out of Euston, I tried to get a bus, but everyone was trying to get a bus and I decided that was a really bad idea, so I tried to walk, but the road to King's Cross was blocked off and the police sort of directed me down another road which I didn't really want to go down because it's completely the wrong direction, but I sort of started walking down there with hundreds of other lost commuters. So it was quite lucky that they delayed me actually, because if I hadn't sort of stopped and got lost and stuff, I would have been a bit further down the road and been much closer to the bus.